For years, many of us build routines we trust. The same breakfast, the same grocery list, the same habits that feel familiar and safe. And most of the time, we don't question them, especially if they've been part of our lives for decades. But here's something we rarely talk about. As our bodies change with age, those healthy habits don't always affect us the same way they once did. That doesn't mean you've been doing anything wrong. It means your body's needs may be shifting quietly in the background, while your routine stays exactly the same. And food is one of the easiest places for that gap to show up. Take eggs, for example. For some people, they represent strength, simplicity, and good nutrition. But the real story isn't about eggs being good or bad. It's about patterns. How often we eat certain foods, how we prepare them, what we combine them with, and how all of that adds up over time. If you've ever wondered whether your everyday food choices still match where your health is today, you're not alone. Many people are asking the same question, especially as they think about energy, independence, and long-term well-being. Have you ever paused and thought about a habit you followed for years without really reconsidering it? If so, share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might help someone else feel less alone. And stay with me, because the part most people overlook isn't the food itself, it's what quietly changes around it. For many of us, health doesn't change all at once. It shifts quietly. One day, you're following the same routines you've trusted for years, the same meals, the same habits, the same ideas about what it means to eat well and take care of yourself, and everything feels fine. And then slowly, almost imperceptibly, things start to feel a little different. Energy dips more easily, digestion feels less predictable, recovery takes longer, and questions begin to surface that never really crossed your mind before. What's important to understand is that this isn't a failure on your part. It's not that you suddenly started doing something wrong. It's that your body, like everyone's, changes over time, and sometimes our habits don't change with it. Food is often where this disconnect shows up first. Many people grow up learning that certain foods are simply healthy, full stop. Eggs are a perfect example. For decades, they've been associated with strength, simplicity, and good nutrition. They're affordable, familiar, and deeply woven into daily routines, especially breakfast routines that feel comforting and reliable. And that's not a bad thing. The problem isn't eggs themselves. It's the assumption that what worked at one stage of life automatically works the same way forever. As we age, our bodies process food differently. Metabolism shifts. The immune system doesn't respond as quickly as it once did. Digestion can slow down, and tolerance for certain stresses, including food-related stresses, becomes a little lower. That's why modern health conversations are moving away from labeling individual foods as heroes or villains. Instead, the focus is on patterns, frequency, preparation, balance, and context. When people hear that, there's often a sense of relief, because it means you don't have to give up foods you enjoy. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. What it does invite you to do is pause and take a closer look at how often certain foods show up, how they're prepared, and what they're paired with on your plate. Small details, repeated day after day, can add up over time, for better or for worse. This idea becomes especially relevant when we talk about food safety. As we get older, the body's ability to fight off infections isn't quite as strong as it used to be. That doesn't mean illness is inevitable. It just means the margin for error becomes smaller. Something that might cause mild discomfort for a younger person can feel much more intense later in life. That's why health professionals often emphasize careful food handling for older adults, not as a warning meant to scare, but as a practical reality of how the body changes with age. Simple habits matter here. How food is stored, how thoroughly it's cooked, how long it sits out before being eaten. These aren't dramatic lifestyle changes. They're small, everyday decisions that quietly support resilience. And the goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. Knowing that these details matter allows you to make choices that feel intentional rather than automatic. Cooking methods are another area where long-standing habits can have a different impact over time. Many people learned to cook in an era when heavy frying, generous butter, and repeated reheating were simply normal. Those methods weren't questioned much, and for a long time, they didn't seem to cause obvious problems. But nutrition science has evolved, and so has our understanding of how cooking techniques influence the overall nutritional profile of a meal. This doesn't mean you need to fear cooking fats or avoid traditional dishes. It means recognizing that how food is prepared can shape how it affects the body. Repeated high-heat cooking, excessive added fats, and heavily processed ingredients can quietly shift a meal from supportive to more taxing, especially when those meals are eaten frequently. Awareness here isn't about restriction. It's about flexibility, having options, knowing that small adjustments can change the overall balance of a meal without taking away enjoyment. That word, balance, comes up again and again in modern public health conversations, and for good reason. Today's nutrition guidance is far less focused on single foods and far more focused on overall dietary patterns. Health outcomes are increasingly linked to variety, consistency, and long-term habits rather than one ingredient eaten in isolation. This shift has been freeing for many people. It moves the conversation away from guilt and towards sustainability. Instead of asking, "Is this food good or bad?" more people are asking, "How does this fit into my overall pattern?" That's a much healthier question. It leaves room for enjoyment while still respecting the body's needs. It also reflects the reality that no single food can provide everything the body requires over time. Protein is a good example of this. It's often discussed as a single category, but in reality, protein sources come with very different nutrient packages. As we age, maintaining muscle strength and physical independence becomes more important, and protein plays a role in that conversation. But relying too heavily on one source can limit exposure to other nutrients that support overall well-being. Different protein-rich foods offer different benefits. Some provide fiber, some healthy fats, some unique vitamins and minerals. Variety helps cover more nutritional ground. It also reduces the likelihood of over-relying on any one food. This is why many health discussions now emphasize diversity rather than quantity alone. It's not just about getting enough protein, it's about getting it from multiple places over time. All of this ties back to a larger theme that resonates with many people: the idea that healthy aging isn't about strict rules. It's about adaptability. The habits that supported you at 40 might need gentle adjustment at 60 or 70. That doesn't erase the value of what you've done. It builds on it, and it's completely normal to feel uncertain during that transition. Health information changes. Headlines can feel contradictory. One day a food is praised, the next day it's questioned. That can leave people feeling confused or even frustrated. But when you step back, a consistent message emerges. Balance matters, context matters, and listening to how your body responds over time matters. If you've ever found yourself wondering whether your daily habits still serve you the way they once did, you're not alone. These questions come up for many people, often quietly, often late at night or during moments of reflection. And asking them doesn't mean something is wrong. It means you're paying attention. This is where thoughtful, informed conversations about health become powerful. Not because they offer quick fixes, but because they encourage awareness. They remind us that health is dynamic, not static, that learning doesn't stop at any particular age, and that small informed choices made consistently can support long-term well-being. If any part of this sounds familiar, take a moment to reflect on your own routines, not with judgment, just with curiosity. And if you feel comfortable, share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. These conversations often help others realize they're not navigating these questions alone. If you found this discussion helpful, consider liking the video so more people can find it, and feel free to share it with someone who might appreciate a calm, balanced perspective on everyday health habits. And stay with me, because next, we'll explore how small shifts in daily routines can quietly support energy, resilience, and confidence as we move forward.